Hi, this is Abbas Zafar and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
We finally have with us Abbas Zafar after a lot of pleading and requesting because he has just delivered an outstanding film, not merely in terms of box office, but even in terms of what he's trying to say in terms of his worldview, which is, I think, extraordinary. Abbas Zafar, pleasure having you back on BollywoodHungama.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time and congratulations. How does it feel? 309 crores. But more importantly, the way people are reacting to it all across the world, I think, is that more heartening, or what is the more?
I think, yeah, that is, as filmmakers, definitely when you make a big film, numbers really count. But I think more than numbers, as a filmmaker, what gives you satisfaction is when when the film gets love from the audience, and that has always been something why we all became filmmakers, and especially when you're directing a film which is with such big superstars like Salman and Katrina, they're those stars that no matter what happens, either it's their fan base or like normal audience, they might only watch that one film a year, of Salman, Shah Rukh, or Amir, or Hrithik, Akshay, So when those people come into the theater and the kind of reaction Tiger got or Sultan got, when that kind of madness or magic happens, you feel happy, you feel relieved more than happy, because there's always a tremendous amount of pressure that builds up before the film, because of the hype, because of all the other factors that are involved in making those, as we call them now, tentpole films of
Absolutely.
the year, which will come on either Eid or Diwali or Christmas. They're all big festive releases.
Absolutely. Apart from the fact that it's a commercial blockbuster, you are also you're having a certain worldview, because in today's times, when many a times we have films which tend to be jingoistic and which tend to have a certain loud sort of I think entire tonality to it. You're actually talking about peace. You're actually talking about humanitarian approach. You're actually talking about how India and Pakistan they just doing a joint operation. Was it a tough decision? Because it's not easy these days, because आजकल काफी चीजों का लोग बुरा मान जाते हैं.
No, it was a tough decision, definitely. But like I've always said, that I was not making a political film. The film is not political. It takes a humanitarian ground. It's about that humanity is above everything. Peace and brotherhood is what we need today more than anything else. And I'm a very proud Indian. I believe in the morals of my country, and I'm proud that when we were growing up, what was taught to us is that this country stands on pillars of forgiveness. This country stands on pillars of that even if your enemy comes into your country, we first offer him water, we offer him food, we offer him a conversation. And that is what makes India the country it is today. When we travel abroad and we meet people, and everyone is just shocked to hear that how many different colors, races, religions coexist in this country, and that whole idea of collective brotherhood is what we have grown up on. So somewhere or the other, that becomes the part and the building block of your identity. My dad has worked in border road services, which is like a paramilitary group which goes and makes routes for the army to go out. The patriotism somewhere or the other runs in my blood, but patriotism doesn't need to be jingoistic. It needs to have a more wider viewpoint. And I think today the kind of love Tiger is getting, and people are appreciating the film, which is very evident for the numbers, is that it kinds of depicts largely the philosophy of this country, that whenever there will be a stand that this country will take, will be a stand which will stand for humanity.
Absolutely.
Which will stand for righteousness, which will stand for integrity. From the national anthem, which kinds of sums up this country, from Jan Gan Man, it says it's a collective country. It's not one state. It's not one part.
Absolutely.
It's together.
Absolutely.
So somewhere or the other, I think that is what film is trying to say. That is what our beliefs while making the film was, and that has kind of worked with an audience.
Right, and I still remember the conversation that we had immediately post the release of Sultan, and I think you made some wonderful points over there as well in terms of the entire holistic element and the sort of character that you had as far as Salman playing over there. All right, you're just talking about the dialogue that you experienced when you went to Chandan, and you just noticed the sort of pin drop silence when Katrina says that 132 बच्चों को पाकिस्तान ने मार दिया था, and it's not everyone is dark. You should not portray, just because some people are not doing the right thing, you should not portray everyone in the same color. Do you think it's important at times to just dispel notions?
See, as filmmakers,
and give a benefit of doubt to maybe people that you are told not to trust, maybe.
See, I believe that as filmmakers, we tend to tell stories which connect you more emotionally. Okay. And today, if anything is happening wrong in any part of the world, me sitting in India gets equally affected.
Absolutely.
Today the fight is much larger. Today the fight against terrorism, against anything that is happening wrong, oppressive, anything which is oppressive, is every individual's fight. So whether an attack happens in India, it happens in Japan, it happens in Europe, it happens in Africa, it happens in any country, it is an attack on humanity.
Absolutely.
And especially when you come from a country which through ages, from our religious texts to to our literature, to the belief system, throughout the world has only talked about peace, brotherhood, whether you pick up Buddha, whether you pick up Hindu saints, whether you pick up Muslim saints, whether you pick up Guru Nanak Ji. We've only talked about peace, we've only talked about brotherhood. Gandhi Ji for that matter, we've only spoken about let's do a collective work where people need to come together with people irrespective of color, caste, religion, and work towards a better tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And somewhere or the other, that is what was the larger byline of Tiger, because obviously it's so-called disguised as an action film, and there are guns, there are explosions, but there is a scene between Usman and Tiger in the film where Tiger says that इस दुनिया की शुरुआत इंसानियत से हुई है और आज दुनिया को सिर्फ एक ही मज़हब की ज़रूरत है और वो है इंसानियत. That's like the byline. Obviously, when you make a film, you need to spell it out so clearly in terms of dialogue, but we did it because we were very clear that that's the communication we want in this masala commercial film to go out.
Absolutely.
And that is all my teachers from school, which are from different castes or religions, sent me a message and said that Ali, this is so important, and for you to say it in a mainstream Salman Khan film is something that is gonna at least make little impact, but will definitely kind of reach an audience.
Yeah, one should keep on trying.
Yeah,
there are several things that you're saying, apart from the fact that बहुत बार हम लोग चीज़ों को सतह पर सिर्फ देखने की कोशिश करते हैं, and you also just a big blockbuster film when you talk about the fact when Abu Usman says towards the end that this entire war is basically a business.
Yeah.
Many people, they don't realize and they just get swayed by emotions, but the fact is it's all about selling the weapons, and that need is created. So when you're making those statements, and even apart from that, I think many people, they really like the fact that you don't really glorify Sajjad's character, even in spite of the fact that he has gone through something after 9/11, which I think quite a few people have gone, and they were innocent at that point of time, but still you don't really glorify him. Many people don't realize it, but and I'm saying entirely as a cinema watcher that जो आप screenplay जिस तरीके से आप लिखते हैं, लोगों को पता भी नहीं चलता वो किस तरीके से उसके अंदर जज्ब करने लगते हैं अपने अंदर. वो आई थिंक इस पिक्चर की बहुत खूबसूरती है दैट ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर कमिंग अक्रॉस वेरी वेरी नाइसली.
I think, when, especially in a film like Espionage, the most important part of storytelling is screenplay. And the continuous struggle that I had while making the film and while writing the film is that, you know, an espionage always has a rhythm. It's like you are sitting in a train, you know, which will only stop at one last station, and that would be the film. And if you see that, even if you see the arc of the film, you know, usually when we write Hindi films, if I compare it with Sultan, you know, Sultan starts at one point of time, hits a crescendo in the first half and finishes at interval with one chapter completely over. And then the second chapter starts from there and goes to a crescendo in the climax. That's an Indian screenplay structure because we write for interval, you know. But in espionage, you can't do it, you know. So the way Tiger is written is Tiger has one graph. It keeps going up towards the end. And if you see, like, even Salman's character is very, very restrained in the film. You know, he's doing, he's right. But when he goes full throttle after that scene with Abu Usman, then he fires like a mad cannon, because that's the time he understands what he's fighting against it. And that fight is not what you are seeing is a visual fight, but actually it's a fight of philosophy.
Absolutely.
It's the fight of right and wrong. You know, when trailer came out, it started with a line कि जब से दुनिया बनी है तब से सिर्फ एक ही जंग हुई है, सही और गलत में और रोशनी और अंधेरे में. That scene is actually a defining scene which actually pushes you into that philosophy of that sometime cancer needs amputation. You have to cut an organ, and that organ needs to be cut. And if that violence is an answer for a violence, you need to take that step, because at times a dialogue doesn't work. So all those things and whatever little understanding of research work I did, which went behind making Tiger, I understood that you know, a lot of people will have justifications to go on the wrong path, but a wrong will never justify a wrong.
Right.
You know, somewhere or the other, hate will never cure hate. It is love, it is brotherhood, it's peace that will create and finish that hate. So for us to understand that revenge is always not the answer, and sometimes it's good to put your guard down and say, if even something has gone wrong, I will be positive and I'm going to fight back and be that person who could make the change. Is in broad lines what intentionally we were trying to say. So there is no justification of being wrong, you know.
No, absolutely. You know, there are so many things that one can discuss. Actually, there's so many things that are coming to my mind. Okay, let's start maybe with Salman and Katrina's chemistry. I was speaking with Katrina day before yesterday and 3 days back, and I think this is the most mature maybe love story that they've shared. That mutual respect
it's
that is
unsaid.
coming across, unsaid. Yeah. That mutual respect is coming along. One I think aspect that maybe I was planning to take in another section, but I think light को आपने बहुत अच्छे से use किया है. Even कटरीना के चेहरे के ऊपर, या फिर जैसे वो वहाँ पर जब रात में जब वो उसको गाड़ी को जब वो पीछे से वो करते हैं, उसके बाद when they're just looking at each other, I think it's come across very nicely. So what is it about the Salman Katrina? Because you know, people are looking at it in an altogether different light now. People I think would love to cast them together because they're looking so good.
They I think make a very good on-screen couple. Yeah, see, there are 2-3 things. Like off screen, I think they're too comfortable with each other.
Right.
So when you just give them the right scene, I think their chemistry just blossoms on screen. What I was also very clear in the film was that I wanted the man who's fighting against this to be a family man. Right. You know, Tiger in this film has a family. There is a different approach when you have a family and you go on a mission like this. You're not very brave. You know, there's a scene in the film where he looks at a child in Iraq, Hassan, and his co-agent tells him, "ये हमारा काम नहीं है," and he says, "ये तो हमारा काम है." So the idea was that when a father will see another kid who is comes from another socio-political backdrop and who doesn't even know what he's doing, how will a father react? No, it's not about how an agent will react in that situation.
Right.
It's about how a father will react. One of the reasons I think why people also kind of got into the mission is because they saw that this is a man who's leaving his family behind to come to a mission which is obviously about the dignity of the country, but is also very important and relevant. And when he finds his wife there, there is not even a single romantic scene in the film.
Yeah.
But the kind of conversations those two people have has so much of soul and have so much of today's contemporary problem that as an audience you automatically fall in love with them. Like my first thing with Katrina was like, Katrina, it's not a love romantic film. It's a film which has a much bigger story, and you have to act so normal that as an audience you feel that there are two agents who were working for their individual countries at one point of time, and now they're living together. You don't need to be over emotional, you don't need to be over romantic, and same is with Salman. Like if you've been living with a woman for 8 years, every second line is not a romantic line. If you have a genuine normal conversation, that will kind of ignite a chemistry where people will believe that these characters are very real characters.
That's true. Shaljam and all that stuff. Shaljam and Tinder and all that. Okay, there's so many other things as well. Ali, I think I've taken a few fan questions, quite a few of them are there. So let's take a few fan questions and we can keep on asking various other things as well. So let's have a few fan questions with Ali, Abbas, Zafar. This is Pratik from Sydney. Paresh Rawal's character is very interesting and funny. How did you come up with the idea of that character? I think he's delivered an outstanding performance.
Yeah, he's actually one of the most special characters for me in the film, Firdaus. The thing is that when I was doing research about spies and I was doing research about the characteristics, and the people who exist, I was reading that every spy had a very particular characteristic. And then I came across a few characters which were very, very funny, which were very, very, as we call them, cardboard-like. Their body language was a certain way, their behavior was like an animal. That's why he's called Tauban, which means a snake in Arabic. Slimy,
Yeah, that's the word. Slimy is the word. He's really,
his eyes and all of that. So I said, I need to write a new character in Tiger, which is obviously audience friendly because he comes with so much of color, but at the same time kinds of is there for a reason. And he's been there from last 25 years. He's worked under the regime of Saddam, he's worked under Americans, and now ISC, as we call them in the film. That character had so much color, and when you have an actor like Paresh Rawal play it becomes even great. But that's a character which kind of added a new spark as soon as they land into Iraq.
No, absolutely.
And that's great. That's how spies are. That when you look at them, you don't figure out that this could be a spy. It could be very well shielded. So I think and he's delivered a great performance in that character, and rest is history.
Yeah, in fact, when he's speaking to the American guy and he says that the American guy says, "What do we do with terrorists?"
Yeah,
and the way he just it's like outstanding. You wait for these moments. Those moments they make so much more. All right, this is Hello Ali. This is Salman Khan Universe, biggest fan club of Salman Khan. We want to ask you that we like the way you use strength of Salman Khan, and will there be the same in Bharat also? This is like a because some people were not happy maybe with some of his fans maybe were not happy with Tube Light, and they feel that this is something that I've received quite often, that they feel that you tap the correct strength of Salman Khan, the way they like him on screen, and they feel that they have a lot of questions for Bharat now.
No, so see, definitely I think I like to present him in the way I think he looks the best. Yeah, that is the right way of putting it. But also the thing is that every time I'm writing his character, my struggle is that I kind of push myself to write a character which matches his stardom. You know, that's what we did in Sultan. Obviously, there he was a wrestler. Here, automatically, the character was created, but we made him an agent, gave him more action this time, put him onto a mission. At the same time, made him a father, so he had a little more emotional side. So that was the strength. In Bharat is actually it's quite early to talk about the film, but in Bharat it's a range that he's going to play that he's never ever portrayed on screen.
Achha, you say that?
Yes. I think it is very challenging as a film for me, and I think it is equally challenging him as an actor. But I would only say that his fans would like him in that avatar because it's got everything that they like seeing Salman Khan in as.
All right. Okay. In fact, there's one more question on Bharat. Rahul from India. How much of script would you alter in Bharat, and will Salman be shown in a larger than life avatar? I think you've more or less answered that.
Yeah, means right now we're still in process of scripting. It's an adaptation, but it is very different from the original. It's very, very different.
This is HBD. I think happy birthday, Zara's sister. Please make us Zoya Zinda Hai, a backstory in Katrina Kaif, please.
Actually, that is an idea that I've been toying for a really long time. I wanted to make backstories of both Tiger and Zoya individually, and hopefully, if we crack a good story, there will be a Zoya Zinda Hai soon.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting actually. I think you tapped her acting potential very well in Mere Brother Ki Duran as well. I think she really came into her own. And I think the best part is if you can tap her strengths. She always, especially the part that she has a certain background, and then I think she just shines like anything.
Yes.
This is really interesting. This is Yogesh from Maharashtra. Faridun bro, please tell Ali Abbas Zafar that most of the Salman Khan fans want to see Dharamji playing Salman's father in Bharat. His thoughts on this?
Well, I think it'll be an interesting casting, but it's too early to talk about these things.
Once again, how about casting Nimrat Kaur opposite Salman in Bharat, or is it Shraddha Kapoor doing it?
Too early.
Okay, this is interesting. Avinash Rathore, third movie in Tiger franchise. Do you think that that's something that should happen? And maybe sooner than what the earlier one has happened?
Well, I would love to do it. Honestly, I think the kind of love and appreciation the characters got in this one definitely gives me an idea that we should push it forward. Adi is very excited. He always used to tell me, when I see that last shot of him walking out of a phone booth with these two kids and Zoya sitting smiling at him, I just want to see a story right out of it which moves forward from here.
Yeah, that's true. I think that many people would say that actually.
Yeah, so when your producer is happy and excited, when you as a director is charged, and Katrina and Salman will anyway spark the magic on the camera, definitely a big possibility of Tiger 3.
Okay, that's interesting, and maybe sooner than
Inshallah, let's see.
All right, now they're suggesting that what all music you can possibly have. Saurav Kumar Rajak from Dhanbad. Can we have a KK song in Salman Khan's star upcoming movie Bharat?
Why not? He's a senior from my college, and he has a great voice. Why not?
This is interesting. After all these questions of the casting factor, this is Amir from Germany. What was your favorite scene in Tigers in that? That should be interesting to find out from you.
There are two scenes which I feel somewhere or the other are the tentpole scenes of the film. One is the scene between Abu Usman and Tiger, which is a pre-climax scene, which actually defines what the film or why the film should have been made. And the second is the treatment of Tera Noor, which is Katrina's action sequence.
Right, I think that's beautifully done.
Yeah.
And I think it's also about women empowerment.
Yes, it is.
This is Sanjana from Bangalore, India. Why did you delete Data 2 song from Tigers in that?
Well, it's actually one of my favorite songs, but an espionage works at a certain pace. And the way when I conceived Data 2 in the film, it was kind of slowing down the pace of the film. So it was a hard decision to take it off, but then we kind of decided that what the film and the kind of pace that is going in, it actually, I'll tell you it, and the anecdote is that it actually used to intercut with Abu Usman's speech. When he gives a speech in the second half after Baghdadi dies, and Tiger and his team is doing, those change of the medicines and stuff. It was intercut with that. But I just felt that the speech and what Abu Usman was saying and what Tiger and his team was doing was more dramatic rather than to have a very sweet bhajan there. The way it was conceived, it was that there is a right and there is a wrong. There is a God and then there is an anti-God. But it somehow or the other in the screenplay didn't kind of channelize the same energy. But for everyone to know, there's a longer cut of Tiger Zinda Hai. We're working on that, and when it comes out on DVD, you will have a longer cut with all those elements in.
Acha.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful actually.
Yeah.
That's a very good news. Okay. All right. This is interesting. The fans, they tend to have a lot of hypothetical questions, and which is like amazing. Raj from California, you handled a Khan pretty well in 2 films. Can you handle 2 Khans in 1 movie?
I would love to.
And which one will that be?
Any of them, they all are Khans. But yeah, I would love to if I can come up with a story which can justify the star power of 2 Khans together.
Right.
And Aditya Chopra can mount a film which can justify the stardom, so then why not?
Ahmed from Germany once again. Is there any backstory of the character Tiger?
We will have to write one. Well, as a writer, you always make a backstory. We kind of created that backstory, where he comes from, what he does, what he would have been before the first part, and things like that. But let's see if we ever do what made Tiger a Tiger. You will definitely find a backstory.
Okay, and people are asking about the action sequences, if you can, because I think the action sequences have been choreographed beautifully, and both Katrina as well. Because I think you've given a lot of footage to Katrina as well, and I think she has totally justified the way she is doing it. And so let's have something about the action sequences, because I think they've been choreographed.
When we were kind of on the storyboard of the film, and when the screenplay was ready and I was doing the dialogue draft, we were very, very clear that we wanted a kind of an action film which takes the genre of an action film ahead of what we are doing today. It needs to be looked at, it needs to be conceived in a way, still be very interwoven with the story. When people say that the action is impactful in the film, is because it's been designed and it's been written inside the script. Usually when you don't do that, then it shout outs as an action film. People will not realize, but the Morocco action sequence, which is on the horse, which we shot in Morocco, is a 13-minute action piece from the time you see Hassan to the time it finishes. Now, to have a 13-minute action piece not making you feel that it's a 13-minute action piece is because there is a strong story running into that action piece.
Emotions attached to that.
Yes, and same is with the climax. So what went behind it was, obviously both of them are physically really fit, and Salman suits action like anything, and Katrina is so physically agile that the kind of action we created for her was more like a dance, which was more like a gymnast. So the idea was to kind of create visual appeal of an action, which when an audience watches, they feel, wow, this is something that we've never seen on an Indian screen. We got Tom Struthers, who's a very famous action director who's done Batman series, Inception, and then I sat with him and I explained him that at times we feel that if we get an action director from outside, your job is done, but that's not the reality of it. We are making an Indian film. There's a certain taste that Indian audience has, but at the same time, we somehow or the other needs to bridge the difference between East and the West. What is happening in Hollywood and what is happening in the Indian film industry. And so a lot of attention was paid that he is a superstar, but he needs to behave as an agent. But at the same time, he should have punches which his core audience says, wow. Same was with Katrina, that fuel her with so much of emotion, fuel her with so much of pathos, that when Tera Noor comes in and she does that action sequence, it is not only wow visually, it is also wow emotionally.
That I agree. That I agree.
So the impact of the action is wow because it is getting channelized through human emotions. It's channelized from the emotion of a mother. It's getting channelized from an emotion of a father.
As a woman.
As a woman, as a person who believes in his duty, his responsibility. And all of that somewhere or the other came through in the film, kinds of elevates the screenplay of the film, elevates the energy of the film.
Absolutely.
Like for example, as you were saying, that the shot when Salman comes out of the hospital with that MG42 and fires. That's when you, as a filmmaker, you want to celebrate cinema. You want to celebrate cinema because by that time, each and every person who's sitting in the theater is behind that hero. Or he is that hero. And he knows that he needs to go out and he needs to create this ruckus to finish this problem. So, but for that you need a scene before which will make an audience stand up for that hero. And that is why it will create that impact. If a scene before that doesn't work, then this shot would just be a man firing bullets. So these are small things that I'm also... Yes, correct. When he challenges him, when he challenges his identity, when he challenges his belief, when Salman says, "Ab tujh mein dam hai to mujhko rok ke dikha," then every man sitting in a theater is already supporting Salman Khan.
Absolutely.
And it's strange, but I think a lot of people would have noticed it that throughout the film he never says Tiger Zinda. It's either said for other characters, and that was the reason that we always maintained it, that his character will become more weaker if he uses that line. So he never uses that line, it is always used by other characters. And
Zakhmi Sher jo hai wo aur zyada dangerous hota hai. That's
correct,
what he says.
That's what he says. And कि मुझे raw में tiger इसलिए बुलाते हैं. So things like this. So there is a strong story. Then you trying to make global statements about why you're making the film. And on top of that, you have this action hero, this beautiful girl, who will all together come collectively and give you a push when the Indian flag comes out of the bus. Raised by a Pakistani soldier, and an Indian Pakistani flag comes out on the bus, and that is where the film finishes. So that all this steam that was pushed into an engine is finally getting released, which as today's individual I say will land up into togetherness. And that is where the final emotion of the film needs to come and rest.
Right, absolutely. Are you disappointed that the film was banned in Pakistan? I think it's just a stupid thing to ban it in Pakistan.
Yeah, see, the thing is that we don't know the real reason why it was banned, because that never came to us. So what happens is, what I got to know is that when you apply for any Indian film to release, you have to get a no objection certificate. And to everyone's knowledge, even the first Tiger never released there. It was also banned. So I think without even considering or reading the script or understanding what the film was doing, they just took that decision and never gave us that NOC. But it has been so overwhelming for me because I was traveling and I met some Pakistanis and they gave me a really warm hug and said,
they love our films.
They love
maybe
our films.
Much more than what we do.
I mean, the amount of business that Sultan did in Pakistan is phenomenal.
That's
and to do with This time they hugged me, and these are common Pakistanis in Middle East who sent me messages, in Europe, all over, and they said that we love India as a country, you know,
That's true.
and we want people to be happy on both sides. And they said that the message that your film is trying to say is in these times is a very, very important question to raise. And we want this film to go to Pakistan, and we want Pakistanis to see it in Pakistan. So that has been a very, very strong and overwhelming response.
Right, absolutely. I think people in Pakistan must have watched it already because piracy is so huge, but it should have been legitimate, which is, I think, this is interesting. Samar from Egypt. Samar from Egypt. Congratulations on the success of Tiger. You deserve the success. You are a good director. At the moment, you are one of the best directors in India. We want to see Salman in the Dhoom series and directed by you. Is that possible?
I think that's a decision that
production house
the
bhi wahi
producer
hai.
has to take, Victor has to take. I think Dhoom is Victor and Adi's baby. Victor has written all three of them. He's directed the last franchise. But I will definitely pass on the message to both of them that when they make the next Dhoom, they should definitely cast Salman Khan.
Wow. Okay. Amir from Germany once again. Who's your favorite director?
Well, in the current time, I definitely like the work of Rajkumar Hirani a lot. He's senior to me, obviously. Kabir has been there for me in terms of the films that he's made. I have assisted him, so his work has kind of left a big impression on my work. Then with the younger filmmakers, I think the film that I really liked this year was Hindi medium. I've not seen a lot of films, but I think that film really kind of I enjoyed a lot, and what the film is trying to say was very important message. So yes.
Right. जैसे आपने अभी जिक्र किया Raju Irani and Kabir. Raju Irani especially, I think he's someone who takes a lot of care in terms of his writing. Actually, for him, I've spoken to him so many times, and he has written in his screenplay of the movies as well, and that he goes to US, he goes to all sorts of places, and रात में कभी उठ के चले जाते हैं with his writer, and till the time he has cracked the scenes correctly, he doesn't just go for it. He has shelved a few films like Munna Bhai, one of the series he didn't go for it, the America part, because he was not totally happy with it. You know what I personally see as far as maybe Gunde जो है मुझे आपके performances मुझे पसंद आए थे, लेकिन अभी जिस तरीके से even सुल्तान में भी और even टाइगर में भी जो आपका राइटिंग का जो एक जिस तरीके से आप you're laying this emphasis, is it something important for you that you should just emphasize correctly on your writing part?
Well, you know, my understanding of the brief career that I've had is that I think we need to pay maximum attention and time to our scripts. Because scripts are gold. If you have a great script, even if while making a film it falls short, it'll still be a good film.
Right.
You know, but if you don't have a good script, no matter how much can you kind of pad it with technology, with performances, it will fall short. So right now, what excites me the most is the story, and I think that is what kinds of channelizes every energy as a director in me. At the same time, I would say that I really hate the process of writing. Because it's the most difficult process of filmmaking. It kinds of questions you every day, every second. But yes, once that process is out, then the next step of making the film becomes much easier. And I think that's a world over phenomenon now. Even the actors, when we approach actors, I think what excites them is not only their character. I think what excites them more is that what largely the film is saying. You know, what would an audience leave the film for? I'll give you an example that in Tiger, I think it is one of the first films where Salman Khan doesn't kill his villain. Paresh Rawal kills him. And in a Salman Khan mainstream film, for Salman not to do that was a big risk for me. A lot of people told me, In the trial when they watched the film, they said कि यार सलमान के ऑडियंस को पसंद नहीं आएगा कि भाई ने ना विलेन को नहीं मारा, परेश रावल ने मारा. But when he saw the film, he went with my instinct. He said, Ali, ठीक है, because he
Mission important था.
Mission important था, and he understood that the overall impact of the film is not about who will kill the villain. The overall impact of the film was the fight that he started and he finished. And when those two flags come out on the bus and Paresh Rawal says, "Well done, Tiger," is the bigger victory. It's not about who you kill.
Absolutely.
And in the end when he calls Girish Karnad and says, "देश को कभी भी मेरी ज़रूरत पड़े तो याद रखिएगा," and he finishes the line by saying, "Tiger Zinda hai." That is eventually the final celebration of the film.
Absolutely.
So things like that, and making those decisions, even from now, actors, and the way they contribute to the larger aspect of filmmaking and what the story is eventually is what is changing.
Absolutely. This is Rosa from Armenia. Hi from Armenia. 3 things we don't know about you.
No, I don't want to say those things on camera. Oh well, I am mostly vegetarian.
Acha.
I think that a lot of people don't know. Yes. I come from a very small town. And I have no connection to the film industry before I became filmmaker.
So you don't have to believe in nepotism to just do what you want to do. 2 back-to-back 300 crore films. Finally, if I were to describe your supporting cast in one word each, so I'll just take a few names, and if you can just maybe talk about their performance or as a personality in one word. Girish Karnad.
Well, with Girish Karnad is, for me, I've worked with Salman, so my whole idea of being with a big superstar was done on Sultan. But with Girish, he's a living legend. We don't understand that because he has 4-5 national awards. He's a director, he's an actor. He can talk about science. He's written plays. He's performed on theatre. He is just a encyclopedia of anything that has to do with art or writing. So my working with him experience was almost surreal, and I've been his fan. I started in college doing theatre, and you read about his work and stuff. So when I was talking to him and interacting with him, it was just something else. And a seasoned, brilliant actor just needs 2 lines to explain him what his character is, and I think his impact in the film is phenomenal.
Absolutely, it is.
And and he was not keeping it well.
Yeah,
he was
we
not
discussed
keeping
that
well.
last time. Yeah.
And when he read the script and he says, "Ali, I will do it," I said, "Thank you so much, sir." So it was very empowering when that came from him.
Right. Okay. And Angad Bedi.
No, I think an upcoming brilliant talent.
Okay. Anupriya Goenka.
Very talented again.
Okay. And Paresh.
Paresh Pahuja.
Yeah.
A bundle of energy.
Bundle of energy. I keep on forgetting the name of the hacker.
Kumud Mishra.
Kumud Mishra. Okay. Kumud Mishra, outstanding actor.
Outstanding actor, Kumud Mishra. I think he is one of my contemporary favorites in the kind of actors that we have in the industry.
All right. So, Abbas, Zafar, thank you very much for your time. It was truly a pleasure talking to you, and congratulations once again for the huge success. And as you know, I just keep on, whenever I'm tweeting about it, I'm mentioning this because the purpose, एक नियत बहुत important होती है किसी भी चीज़ में, और जो नियत जो आपकी इस पिक्चर के पीछे है, I think that's really बहुत ही खूबसूरत है, in fact नियत है, which is I think hugely commendable. And we hope that you keep on writing such fine scripts, and keep on taking your chances. and I hope that you have enjoyed, just keep on enjoying the success of Tigers in there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.
Hi, this is Ali Abbas Zafar, and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.